Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is December 9th, 2024, and Jan Laporta's opposition have launched yet another attack on the Barcelona president. Also, Diego Kochen, the goalkeeping prodigy at Barcelona, will be signing his contract renewal. And finally, Vitor Roque has discussed his time at Barcelona. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the Barca News, a live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Where not only do we discuss Barcelona news, but also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering your questions, and getting that discussion going. Having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to hit the Goal Kids, Kickback, or Fanatics. If you're looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. Now, let's begin with the news. And as always, the first segment of news, it's a bunch of little bits of news combined together. By the way, before I begin with the news, I'm so happy to be finally back home. Not only because I missed my home and I missed my bed, but I miss doing the podcast with you guys. So I'm very happy to be back. But anyways, let's start with the news. I don't want to delay it anymore. But let's talk about Ronald Araujo, because the Uruguayan captain is set to travel with the team to Dortmund, Germany, ahead of the Champions League match that Barcelona will play on Wednesday, which is the day after tomorrow. Now, Ronald Araujo has not received the green light yet. So he's not going to be playing. He's simply traveling with the team. Now, you might say, Mo, why is Ronald Araujo traveling with Barcelona if he's not healthy, if he hasn't been declared fit, if he's not going to play? And well, the reason is because his recovery is going really well. He's at the final stage of his recovery. So they don't want to, interrupt his recovery. So therefore, the medical staff have decided for Araujo to travel with the team so he can continue training with the team. He can continue his recovery, and therefore he can be declared fit. And it's expected that Araujo will be available for the upcoming weekend match against Leganés, as of course I reported in a previous video. So Barcelona's medical staff confirming the news that Ronald Araujo will be available for the weekend against Leganés, but again, still has traveled to Dortmund so he can continue his training, he can continue his recovery. Now, this is, of course, great news, because right now, Kochen and Io Martinez have been, playing every single minute, so it's good to know that Araujo will be available to rotate with them. And of course, that also means that the nursery is getting empty slowly, because there's only two players left. Ansu Fati, who's expected to come back pretty soon, and then there's, of course, Andreas Christensen, who has missed the whole season. He ended up getting 2 surgeries, one on each Achilles heel tendon, and he's expected to come back after the winter break. So once Christensen is back, the nursery will be officially, or the infirmary will be officially empty with no injured players. Of course, besides Martyr Sagan and Marc Bernal, who are long-term injuries, are not going to be coming back until next season. But ladies and gentlemen, we're almost getting there. After injury, and left and right, we're finally getting to the point where our infirmary will be pretty soon empty. Now, speaking of Ronald Araujo, as I reported before, Hansi Flick wanted to take his time for Uruguayan captain to come back, not only to make sure that he's 100% healthy, not get re-injured, but also to make sure that Araujo was tactically ready to play for Flick, because as you know, Araujo has not played under Flick a single minute. So Flick has been spending extra time with the Uruguayan defender, teaching him his tactics, things like, the offside trap, how to mark under the scheme of Hansi Flick, because of course Araujo is a very different profile than both Íñigo and Kochen. He's a much more physical profile, more fast defender. So Flick spending extra time with Araujo and taking his time with Araujo's return to make sure that not only is Araujo fit physically, but he's also technically able to play under Hansi Flick's scheme of play. So that's definitely good to hear. And again, good news that Araujo will be coming back pretty soon, because Cubarsí and Íñigo are going to need rest sooner or later. All right, let's start with the chat section. Let's see what you guys are saying. Let's see what you're commenting. And then we are going to talk about Jean Laporta's opposition, because once again, they add it again. All right, let's see what everyone's saying. Mike Valencia says Jonathan Tah and Cordero future signings. Here we go. Yes, it looks like Jonathan Tah signing is happening. There's been a lot of news here and there. But Antonio Cordero, of course, I made a video yesterday. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Antonio Cordero, one of the most promising talents in Spain. And it looks like he is coming to Barcelona. Marcus says, good evening, Mo. I'm watching from North Dakota, 10-degree weather. Something is becoming scary and unusual with FCB. And we are gradually becoming a laughing stock, especially with our struggle. Easy, my friend, easy. I don't want to say we're laughing stock. Yes, the team is struggling, but there's nothing laughable about what's going on. It's not like, we signed Mbappe, Bellingham, and Vinicius, so we end up flopping. So I wouldn't say laughing stock. We're definitely been struggling in the last few matches, but nonetheless, we're still the highest scoring team in La Liga. We're still, top 8 in the Champions League. Let's take it easy. Let's take it easy. Raul says, we've got unworthy players who've been stinking the club for years, but their fans are so protective that they don't want to see that. We need a left winger, left back, right back, and a striker. We need quality players. I think the number one priority is a left winger because we don't have anyone, right? Left back, we have Balde. Yes, we need someone to compete with him, but at least we have a starter there in that position. Left wing, we don't have anyone. Right back, same thing. We have Kunde. Sure, we don't have someone to compete with him, but at least we have someone to start there as opposed to left wing. We don't. Lewandowski, same thing. We need someone to compete with him, but at least we have someone to start. So I think the main priority is left winger because we don't have anyone, any specialist for that position. So that's definitely the number one priority. As far as people who keep talking about, Lewandowski sucking, I think these people are delusional. Lewandowski is the top scorer in La Liga. He's a top scorer in the Champions League. As a striker, your sole job is to score a goal. And if you're the guy scoring the most goals in all of Europe, that means you're doing your job. You're the best one doing his job in all of Europe. So for people who keep saying, oh, Lewandowski sucks, you literally talking about the best striker in Europe right now. You want to bring someone worse to replace him? Where's the common sense in that? I don't know. But I guess people just want to scapegoat for the sake of scapegoating. They see the team is not doing well, so they want to blame someone. So fuck it. Let's just blame the 36-year-old, whether it's deservedly so or not. Carla says, hey, Mo, I know you were in Argentina for weeks. What the heck were you doing there? You said work, lawyer work. I hope you had fun, though. I wasn't the whole time in Argentina. I was in Florida for work. I was in Florida for about 5 days. Then I went to Argentina. I took some days off, like 4 days off. And then the following week, I was still in Argentina, but I was working remotely from Argentina. So I was working all day, and then at night, I would go out. I did go watch a River Plate match at the Monumental. I took my camera. I filmed the experience. I'm going to be putting together a video for you guys to see so I can share my experience of what it was to watch a football match in the land of football, the home of Lionel Messi and Diego Maradona, two of the greatest players in the history of the sport. All right, let's get back to the news, and then we'll keep reading the comments. But let's talk about Jean Laporta's opposition, Som Un Clam, because they have once again launch another attack against the Barcelona president, Jean Laporta. Now, you've heard about Som Un Clam by now. This is a party led by Jean Camproví, who is the son and the grandson of former Barcelona presidents. He's pretty much the main opposition of Jean Laporta, aside from Vitor Font, who's, has his own party. But Jean Camproví is pretty much the guy backed by Sandro Rosé, backed by Bartomeu. They kind of come from the same side of the political spectrum, if you want to call it that, from the same side of the FC Barcelona political spectrum. And he's pretty much been leading the opposition against Jean Laporta. He's one of the guys who came up with the idea of uniting all the opposition against Laporta in the General Assembly, where the club were set to, pass the budget for the year. And he's the one who kind of brought all the opposition together to encourage them to vote against approving the club's budget, which of course failed miserably because Jean Laporta ended up passing the budget by a huge number. And well, now he's back at it again. Now, what is going on exactly? As I reported in a previous video, there's a new General Assembly that's going to be held on December 21st or 22nd, the same day as the Atletico Madrid match. And during that General Assembly, the board of directors will present the new Nike deal to all the club socios for them to vote on it and get their approval. And well, once again, Son Monclam are leading the opposition and kind of not directly encouraging a vote against Nike, but kind of stirring up the pot. They sent a letter to all the media outlets. They made a public statement saying that, they don't trust the Nike deal, that there hasn't been much transparency, that they don't know what's in this Nike deal, and that they demand John Laporta to be more transparent, to tell them more about the Nike deal, because they feel that John Laporta is pretty much selling the club's future in order to save, its current present. So once again, stirring up the pot, trying to cause some problems as far as the upcoming General Assembly. And look, all Sochis have 100% the right to demand to know what's in the Nike deal. They all demand answers. But my dude, this is what that General Assembly is for. Like literally, that General Assembly is for the board of directors to present the whole Nike deal, to tell you from A to Z what's going on with the contract, what are the terms, what are the numbers, what's going to happen, answer any questions that the Sochis might have. And once everybody hears what the board have to say, once everybody gets to ask their question, once everybody gets their question answered, then you can vote yes or no. I don't understand this whole we demand answers. That's literally what the assembly is for. So if you want answers, attend the assembly, get your answers. And then if you don't like your answers, go ahead and rile the troops up and talk all the crap that you want. But right now, I don't get it. It's like we have the Dortmund match and me today saying, I want to know the result of the Dortmund match. And it's like, my dude, the Dortmund match is on Wednesday. You want to know the results? Go watch the match. You'll know the results. It's like, but anyways, of course, this is not about the Nike deal. This is not about answers. This is not about transparency. This is just a politician being a politician, trying to cause problems and trying to score points while causing problems for others, rather than focusing on his own platform and saying, look, this is my platform. This is what I have to offer. If you like it, vote for me. If not, that's okay. No. Let's attack the other guy. Let's make the other guy look bad so I can look good. It's what's called negative sum politics. Unfortunately, that's what prevalent all around the world these days. All right, let's get back to the chat section, and then we will talk about Barcelona's future goalkeeper. All right, let's see. Julio says, Mo, what's your thoughts? But it's been very clear to me that we need a better left back. Balde only offers speed. His crossing into the penalty box is just awful. I've heard this complaint a lot about Balde's crosses. I personally don't see it. There's been a lot of goals that come from Balde's crosses. If I had a complaint about Balde, is his defense. I don't have problems with his offense. I mean, to say he only offers speed, it's like saying Lamine only offers dribbling. I'll take it. Speed in the fullback is extremely essential. It's one of the most essential skills that a fullback should have. Otherwise, you're screwed, because if you don't have speed, how are you going to attack, and how you're going to track back to defend? I don't see a problem with his crosses. I don't see a problem with his speed either. I think one problem I have with Balde is that sometimes he's too lazy tracking back. That's my problem with him. As far as his offense, I don't have any problems with Balde's offense. Plus, let's not forget, he's only 19, 20 years old. He's not even close to being the best version that he is. So, do we need someone else to compete with him? Absolutely. We need someone to put more pressure on him, because you always need that, right? Players without someone breathing down their neck, reminding them, hey, the moment you slip up, I'm taking your spot. Players without pressure, they eventually become complacent, right? We saw it a lot with Jordi Alba during his final years, where he knew there was no one that can compete with him, and he just became complacent. As soon as Balde emerges and Balde becomes the starter, all of a sudden we saw the old version of Jordi Alba, because now he had competition, right? So I think every player needs competition. Every player needs a sub breathing down his neck, reminding him, hey, if you slip up, I'm taking your spot. I don't think Balde has that. So yes, we do need someone to compete with him, but I wouldn't necessarily complain about Balde's attacking prowess. Let's see. Chidi says, when Araujo returns, who do you think will be dropped from the starting lineup between Kouarsi and Inigo? At this point, I don't think anyone. I think it's still going to be Kouarsi and Inigo, with Araujo rotating with them. Down the road, we'll see, because let's not forget, Araujo's been out for 4 months. He had to undergo surgery. It was a serious injury. It's going to take him some time to recover. It's going to take him some time to get back into competitive rhythm. It's going to take him some time to see, prime Araujo. That takes a while. It's like people now. They're like, oh, Gabi sucks. It's like the guy hasn't played for a whole year. What do you expect? If Lamine Yamal, God forbid, didn't play for a year, he too would suck. Because being out for that long, it takes a very long time to get back into your best form. So it's going to take Araujo some time. So for now, I expect Cubarsí and Inigo to continue being the starters. We'll see down the road how Araujo, if he goes back to what he was, if he gets better, if he gets worse, we'll see where he's at. And then we could talk about whether he can replace someone or not. Eric says, hi, Mo. Any news? Jonathan Tak has heard there was discussing with him and he agreed to join Barca. Nothing that I was able to confirm. I know these rumors have been circulating for a while. We know that Deco went to Germany, but we don't know who he met with. So it looks like there could be some truth to that. We'll see. I haven't been personally able to confirm any of this. Once I will, I'll make a video, but as long as it's just a rumor, I'm not going to engage in rumor spreading. All right, let's get back. Again, I'm not saying it's a lie, but I'm also not saying it's true. I haven't been able to confirm it myself. If I hear more, then I'll make a video. All right, let's get back to the news because we do have to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, Diego Kochen, the prodigy goalkeeper of Barcelona, because he is finally set to sign his new contract. Now, Diego Kochen had agreed to extend his contract with Barcelona until 2028. Back in February, I made a video, if you guys might remember, if you've been long enough with the channel. However, at the time, he was 17 years old, so he couldn't sign his new contract, and they were waiting for him to turn 18, which he did on March 19th, and despite him turning 18, it still did not happen. We don't know why. We don't know if it's a financial fair play problem or what was going on, but the contract renewal got delayed, but now it's official. Diego Kochen will sign his contract until 2028. Now, this is very important because, of course, Barcelona consider that Diego Kochen is the most promising goalkeeper currently in the academy, more promising than Astralaga, more promising than anyone else. And they also consider him to be the future goalkeeper of the first team. They think that he has what it takes and describe him kind of like a better version of Courtois, where he's very tall, he's very good, blocking shots. But the difference is he's much better with his feet than Courtois. This is why he's kind of considered as a better version of Courtois, where he has the same height and same ability to block shots, but he's also good with his feet, something that Courtois is not very good at. Of course, a Barcelona goalkeeper is always expected to be good with his feet because the Barcelona way of play is that you start building plays with the goalkeeper passing the ball to the center backs, maybe to the defensive midfielders, depending on what player they're running. But a Barcelona goalkeeper needs to always be good with his feet. And of course, Diego Kochen is one of those at top of the fact of being a very good shot stopper. Now, the reason why Diego Kochen has not been called up to the first team is, well, this exact same reason, which is that Barcelona consider him the future goalkeeper of the first team. Now, you might say, Mo, that doesn't make sense. If he has what it takes to be the first goalkeeper, why isn't he being called up to the first team? And, well, that's because right now he's not ready to play with the first team, right? We have Iñaki Peña, who's the first goalkeeper, and we have Szczesny, who's the second goalkeeper. So if Diego Kochen were to get called up to the first team for every match, he would be the third goalkeeper, which means he wouldn't get any playing time. So Barcelona don't want that because, again, Barcelona consider Kochen as the future goalkeeper of the team. So they prefer him staying with Barca Athletic so he can get as much playing time as possible, so he can continue playing, he can continue developing, he can continue growing, he can continue improving. And that way he can be ready once his time is up and once his time is to become a first-team goalkeeper. So good news, Diego Kochen will sign his contract until 2028, who is considered the future goalkeeper of the first team at FC Barcelona. All right, let's get back to the chat section, and then we will talk about Vitor Roque because he has given an interview, again, for the millionth time, talking about his time at Barcelona. Marcus says, Mo, of later, Jules Koundé has been really inconsistent, but I understand we are human. I hope he gets his rhythm back soon. Jules Koundé has been very lazy the past few matches. And, I've criticized him because I really think it's a mentality problem. Koundé, the way he goes and challenges balls, the way he runs, the way he goes to receive passes, the way he attacks, he does it in a way where it's like, I'm too good for this, right? I've proved myself. I helped the team beat Real Madrid 4-0 at the Bernabeu. I helped the team beat Bayern Munich 4-1. I helped the team, score 5-0, 4-0 every single match since the beginning of the season. So now I've proved myself, and therefore now I don't have to prove myself anymore. I'm too good for these little teams like Las Palmas and like Celta Vigo and like, Real Betis. I'm too good for those guys, right? I'm more of a guy who needs to be playing against Real Madrid and Bayern every match. That's the attitude that I see from Jules Koundé, and that's a problem. And this is why I say it's very important to have players or substitutes that can compete with the starters, because if Koundé had someone breathing down his neck, another right back, not Hector Ford, because he's not there yet. He has potential. Yes, he has promise, but he's not there yet. But if there was another right back who's as good or maybe a little bit below Jules Koundé, breathing down Koundé's neck, reminding him, hey, the moment you slip up, I'm taking your spot, I bet you 100% Koundé would not be playing the way he's playing, because he would be scared that, hey, if I start jogging and causing these stupid mistakes like he has been, my spot is going to go. But now he knows no matter what he does, no one's going to take his spot because there's no one to compete with him. And that's a problem. Let's see. Julio says, I've been very happy with Hansi Flick so far. It's not his fault that the players are slumping on the field, but it's clear to me that Hansi's prioritizing the Champions League over La Liga. I wouldn't say it's clear that he's prioritizing one over the other. I think the team is just more motivated for to play for the Champions League. You see it. You see the difference between the energy and intensity that the players come out of in the Champions League that in the Liga. And it's because, and I've said this before, it's a lot more difficult to get motivated to play against smaller teams than it is against the bigger teams. Anybody gets motivated to play against Real Madrid in El Clásico, right? Every player's dream is to play El Clásico match, whether for Real Madrid or for Barcelona. The hard thing is to get motivated to play matches against Malaga or Leganés or Levante. And those matches are hard to get motivated for. But guess what? Most matches are going to be against teams like that, against bottom of the table, mid of the table team. So what's the difference between a championship winning team and a non-championship winning team? That the championship winning team can get motivated against every single opponent, that the championship team can play against every single opponent like if they were playing a Champions League final, right? Whether it's Real Madrid or whether it's Getafe, they play with the same intensity. And that's a difficult thing, right? So Champions League, the team does better because it's just easier to get motivated for that. It's the Champions League, right? It's the biggest competition for any club in the world. La Liga, that becomes a little bit more difficult when you have to play against a smaller team. So I think that's why. It's not that Flick is telling the guys, hey, it's the Champions League. Go out there and kill yourselves. Oh, wait, it's La Liga now. You don't have to run. It's not that that's what's happening. It's just the nature of the competition. Kochen says, Koundé was never good at defending either. Did he ever prevent crosses inside or out the box? He's always yards away from the player who is about to cross, and he never prevents it. His biggest weakness. I disagree with that. I think Koundé is very solid defensively. Before all his mistakes, he was easily the best, one of the best, if not the best right backs in Europe. But lately, he's been just lazy. Carlos says, don't you think Ford is a good competitor for Koundé? He has good speed, dribbling, crosses. He's also still young. I don't think we need a backup for Koundé. I do think he is, but not now. Excuse me. Hector Ford is still 17 years old, so he is still miles away from Koundé. I think Hector Ford could eventually become maybe even better than Koundé, or at least as good as Koundé, but not right now. And that's the problem, right? If Hector Ford was maybe 2021, I think he could easily take Koundé's spot away the way Koundé has been playing. But he's still not there, and that's the problem. Again, it's not a matter of skills, and it's not a matter of potential. It's just timing, right? Players, they take time to mature, to get better. And Hector Ford has what it takes to compete with Koundé, but he's just not there yet. He's still needs a little bit more time. All right, let's get back to the news and then we'll do more comments. But I know I put my glasses back on. But let's talk about Vitor Roque because the Brazilian has given another interview. Yes, another interview talking about his time at FC Barcelona, starting with discussing the pressure that he felt when he signed for the Blaugrana club. Now, this is why does it keep doing that? I hate when it does that. Just there we go. Vitor Roque said the price that was paid for me created pressure. It was a very high investment in recent years, and I was not completely ready to help the team in the way I wanted. I would have liked to have more time to get used to players and the club, but things did not go as I would have liked, and that serves as a learning experience for me. So Vitor Roque admitting that he was not ready to come to Barcelona because of the 30 million euros that Barcelona paid, plus the 30 million euros in variables that they agreed to. He felt pressure, and therefore he was not ready. And that's a problem because, and this is something I've talked about before, where we seem to be doing it the opposite way, where we bring up an academy kid, and if he doesn't work out, we immediately get rid of him and we don't give him time, versus these players who we spend 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 million euros, and we're like, oh, let's give them time, right? Rafinha, 2 seasons down the drain because we were still giving him time. And it should be the opposite. Players who we pay 60, 70 million euros for should be expected to perform on day one. That's why I'm paying 60, 70 million euros for you. I'm paying a premium because I expect you to perform on day one. And if you cannot perform on day one, then don't come. Academy players, on the other hand, those players should be given time because you're not paying anything for them, right? You don't go buy a Ferrari and then the dealership tells you, well, you can't really drive it for the first 2 years. It needs time to adjust. To be like, what the hell am I paying for then? I'll just go buy me a Toyota Corolla that works on day one, right? Same thing with players. Plus, not to mention the cost-benefit analysis, right? If you pay 60 million euros for a player for 5 years, that's 12 million euros a season in transfer fee. Plus another 10 million euros in salary, that's 20 gross for the club. Plus 20 million in salary, plus 12 million euros in signing fee. That's 32 million per year. You give them 2 years to adapt, you just wasted 64 million euros on adaptation. I'm sorry, but that's not acceptable, nor does it make any economic sense. An academy player, you're not paying any transfer fee for him, and his salary is probably like 100,000 or 200,000. You give him 2 years, you just spent 400,000 on his adaptation. I would prefer to spend 400,000 over 64 million. It just doesn't add up. So, Vitor Roque, if you weren't ready, you shouldn't have come, my friend. The club paid premium for you so you could perform on day one. You weren't ready. You should have said so, and you shouldn't have came. All right, now, Vitor Roque also admitted to feeling anxiety when he came to the club, and he said, I've arrived in Barcelona very happy to fulfill a childhood dream, which was always to be there, to live those Champions League moments, to wear that shirt. But I had a lot of anxiety about making things go well. I went through a very difficult time at Barcelona. When you are not happy and do not have confidence, things do not go well. Again, I think it was simply a matter of it was too big of a club for Roque. He wanted to come and fulfill a dream, and then when he arrived, he realized that dream was just a little bit too big for him to muster. I think a better move for Roque would have been to go to a club like Real Betis, a club with less expectations, with less demands, with less pressure, and then make a move to a bigger club if he had what it takes. But again, this was a matter of it was simply too big of a club for him. And I'm not blaming him because any player would jump at the opportunity of playing for Barca. This also had to do with the scouts. I think with Deco, with the scouting area, I think they all failed at their job because they should have seen this. They should have predicted it at least. Or if they could have predicted it, I think he should have been immediately signed and maybe reached an agreement so he can stay at Atletico Paranaense for another year. Or if they wanted to bring him, they should have brought him and then immediately loaned him out and then brought him back to Barcelona versus just bringing him to Barcelona and hoping for the best. This is something that the scouting department should have foreseen, that this move was way too big for him. Now, Vitor Roque also talked about how the pressure made him consider going back to Brazil, saying, yes, I thought about going back to the farm in Brazil to be calm, to be alone, because sometimes it is all very difficult. There is a lot of pressure. You have to keep going, stay mentally strong, and keep working with a lot of humility so that things go well. Again, I'm not going to go too much into detail. I think this only adds to what I've said before. This move was just simply too big for the player. And finally, Vitor Roque talked about how the comparisons to Vinny is what has helped him keep motivated, by saying, sometimes my agents use Vinicius as an example of persistence and fighting. He did not have an easy life when he arrived, and today he is reaping the rewards. I'm very happy for him because he deserves this great moment. So Vitor Roque talked about how his agents, his representatives, his entourage always remind him that it also took Vinny a while until he settled in, and that kind of helps him to, continue working, and it keeps him motivated. But of course, the situation is not the same. I know people on the channel have constantly compared the case to Vinicius, and Vinicius took him 2 years. Yeah, but here's the thing: we're not Real Madrid. We don't have the luxury of waiting 2-3 seasons for Roque to become the next Vinicius. Why? Because we got clubs in two different situations. When Real Madrid signed Vinicius, they were not in a crisis. They were fine financially. They were really fine sporting-wise. They were winning trophies. They were making money. Barcelona, we were the opposite. We hadn't won anything. We were in financial ruin. We needed someone to arrive and immediately perform. We didn't have the luxury of waiting for someone to come and become a star. So the two situations are not the same. It's comparing apples to oranges. But nonetheless, I do wish that Vitor Roque eventually does find his form and he can, hopefully become the star that we all thought he could be. And who knows, maybe if he does, we can bring him back to Barcelona. And if not, we can sell him for a lot of money. But, he's not someone who ever really said anything bad about Barca, was never like a bad person. He's a really good he's a good player. He's a good person who came at Barcelona at the wrong time. So either way, I still wish him well. I wish he succeeds. And who knows, maybe he can come back one day and help out the club. Or if not, at least help out the club by leaving some money in our coffers. All right, let's get back to the chat section and see what you guys are saying. Kino says, welcome home, sir. Have you heard the rumors about Frankie to PSG? Seems too good to be true. Everything's just a rumor now. Barcelona are not really planning on offloading anyone in the winter because they consider that would be weakening the team. Plus, again, Frankie has to agree to any of these moves. Any club could come and be like, I'll pay 10 billion euros for Frankie. And if Frankie says no, it's no, right? So right now, it's all rumors. There are plenty of clubs interested in Frankie. That is true. But whether he's going to want to leave or not, that's a whole nother story. When is he going to want to leave? That's a whole nother story. For now, it's just that. It's just rumors. Isaac says, when it comes to the goalkeeper position, I think we are solid there for 50 years. All they need is continuity and game time. 50 years? How 50 years? Sumar says, hey, Mo, do you think Dani Rodriguez could play on the left wing for when we need to make rotations? I think Dani Rodriguez is a really good option, but not now. I think he needs to be, start training with the first team for Flick to assess him, for the Flick to see. But to immediately jump from Barca Athletic and play a match, I don't know if he's there yet. I think the first step would be to start calling him up to trainings. Of course, Flick has been wanting to call him up to trainings, but Dani Rodriguez has been injured for most of the season. He's finally back. So we'll see if Flick starts to call him up so he can get into first-team dynamic before we can even talk about giving him minutes. Let's see. Sean says, we keep forgetting Roque is only 19, very young. He's not to blame what happened. We need to remember it was Xavi who requested that he came early. I blame Xavi. I mean, I wouldn't blame the player either because, again, anybody would jump at the opportunity of signing for Barca. If Barca tomorrow calls me, I'll be like, hell yeah, let's go. And obviously, there's no way I can play professional football, let alone for Barcelona. But I'm not going to say no. I'm going to be like, let's go. I'll put on the jersey, I'll run out there and make a few million and make a mockery out of myself. So I don't blame the player. But part of it was Xavi for requesting him early. Another part was Deco. Another part was the scouts. Like, what the hell were the scouts doing? That's literally what they get paid for. Not only to figure out if a player is good or not, but their job is also to figure out whether a player would fit in Barcelona. Because you could be good, you could be great. Doesn't mean you're going to fit in Barcelona. So your job is not only to recognize talent, it's to also figure out whether that talent is going to fit within the team. And that's one thing that they should have figured out, that it was too early for him. It was too big of a jump. And they should have included that in the report, and they didn't. So there's plenty of parties to be blamed here. One of them, yes, is Xavi, but also the scouts and also Deco. Amar says Hansi Flick overrated. We won by luck, and now we got found out. This guy for real? 50 goals in 17 matches by luck? A sextuple by luck? Imagine thinking winning a sextuple. There's only 2 coaches in the whole history that have won a sextuple. Pep and Flick. Imagine thinking that's luck. I guess Jordan won his 3 championships back-to-back twice by luck too. A lot of lucky people out there, man. Tom Brady, was it 7, 8 Super Bowls? Luck. Lewis Hamilton, 7 world championships. He also got lucky. Man, I need some of this luck to come my way. Luis Sanchez says, hey Mo, since all these injury players come back, all of them haven't been able to get a hold of Flick rhythm. It has affected us because the players coming in can't sustain the level of the starters. I disagree. I think the whole team has dropped their level, not just the players who have come back. I mean, we've seen it. Kunde hasn't come back from injury, and he hasn't been able to sustain his intensity. Everybody. Dani Olmo, even Lamine at times has dropped level. I think the whole team has just dropped level. And I think it has to do with just the team has been overconfident. They were flying high, winning every match, 4-5-0 by luck, apparently. They defeated Real Madrid at their stadium 4-0 by luck, apparently. They spanked Bayern Munich by luck, apparently. Scored 3 goals against Espanyol in like 20-30 minutes by luck, apparently. And it's like they got overconfident. And now they think they don't have to play as well. They don't have to run as much. They don't have to play with as much intensity because, that's it. We beat Madrid, we beat Bayern, so we've won it all. We've proven ourselves, and that's a problem, right? Let's see. Mike Valencia says, also, I think the lack of quality and squad depth is what making the system fail. There is a lack of depth for sure. And I don't mean in the number of players because we have enough players. The problem is the quality of the players, right? That's the problem because you take out Rafinha or you take out Lamine, and who do you have to substitute it with? Ansu, Ferran, right? You take out Pedri and Casado, who do you have to sub them with? Frankie, who has been highly inconsistent his whole time at Barca. Or Gabi, I love Gabi, but he's not ready. He's been off for a whole year, and he's not there yet. It's going to take him a while until we see the old Gabi back, right? You take out, Balde, who do we have? Gerard Martin. So we do have a depth issue, but not in numbers because we have the numbers. We have, 11 players and another 11 on the bench that can replace them. Problem is the quality. You take out one of our starters and the next one that comes in, it's like a huge drop in quality. And that's a problem. It's kind of like, your Ferrari breaks down and you put in a Toyota Corolla in its place to keep racing versus, your Ferrari breaks down and maybe you put in a Lambo in its place or, I don't know, a Mercedes AMG in its place, right? I don't know. John says, the Frankie issue, I would drop him, let him know if he's not going to sign a new contract. You need to find a new club. I know his salary is high, but it's something we have to do. I mean, I'm definitely for clubs that will do that, who tell players, look, if you're not going to renew, you're sitting down and you're not going to play a single minute until you either renew or you leave. I don't know why Barcelona doesn't do that more often, so I'm totally for that idea, but I'm guessing it's the salary that keeps Barcelona from doing that because, to have a player earning, I don't know what it is. I think it's 26 million at this point, by sitting on the bench. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Let's see. Kano says, I think quality rotation is what we're missing. The drop-off between quality can be as big as it currently is. We expect to win consistently. I agree 100%, my friend. I agree 100%. And Edwin says, thoughts on Nico rumors popping up again. hinting that he wants to come again. Look, I think Barcelona have taken the right decision that they're only going to make a move for Nico if he outright comes out and says, hey, I'm coming to Barca. I'm not staying at Athletic Club de Bilbao, because we can't go through the same thing. We cannot be out there. We want Nico, and then Nico doesn't come, right? So if he wants to come, he knows what Barcelona stance is. Barcelona want him. They've told him they want him. And if he wants to come, then he should make the move. Otherwise, enough with the games. Go somewhere else. This is Barcelona. We don't get to beg play. We don't beg players. Players beg us. Anyways, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in, for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions. If you haven't liked the video yet, do so. That really helps the channel grow. If you haven't commented yet, let me know your thoughts down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I will be making another video with more news that I'll upload later tonight. But for now, we'll say Visca Barça, and I will see you in the next video.